What's up, party people, to another episode of Who Asked You podcast. I'm your host, Duty 2 Groovy, and today we have a very, very, very special guest in the building, NINI LISCIOUS. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I cannot complain.
Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm sorry. I should have done that before. Hold on.
No, that's fine. I'm actually about to share this out too.
Okay.
But for the people who don't know who you are, could you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, so hello. My name is Benita, really, but I go by NINI. I am a mother of one. I love my people. I'm always fighting for what's right. I'm a baby out of 10 kids. I'm an Army brat, country girl, Sag life. And pretty much I created a petition. I was motivated to create a petition called the Police Accountability Act. And pretty much it's to start holding policemen accountable.
And that is so excellent, because a lot of people talk about making change and complaining, but they never come forward with a plan. No legislation, no demands, no nothing. They just be emotional and angry. So I applaud you for that, because you did something that a lot of people wouldn't dare to even think about. So I want.
Thank you. Well, go ahead.
Oh no. Peace to the chat. Crown G in the building. Goddess in the building. Was good. Let me show. I'm going to show the people your petition, because you're almost there. You almost at the goal. Like that is so amazing.
The petition far surpassed. I was really only thinking that I would maybe get 5,000 signatures, if that, because I have sickle cell anemia disease, and yes, I'm very well known. I'm a well-known advocate within the sickle cell community. However, I'm not very well known on YouTube, and IG and other platforms. So I was hoping, my goal was just like 5K, but we're almost at 15K. Like, it's over 12,000 signatures. So it far surpassed my expectations. And for everybody who signed, I'm so thankful. I follow and I get a lot of my teachings from Ashe Divine. I love her. That's my sister.
Shout out to the goddess.
Kiska Valley. Yeah. Malcolm Isaiah Turner. That's my brother. I love him to death. I even listened to some of YP's his teachings. And so I want to give a shout out to all of them, because I take what I take, and the stuff that the stuff that don't resonate with me, I leave it, and so it's okay to me to be able to get different perspectives, but some things we're going to agree on and some things we're just not, and I'm okay with that. So I was motivated. I'm still really pissed about how our people keep getting just unjustly murdered, and I just felt like it was time to do something. Like, I kind of feel like the only way they'll get it is when you hit their pockets, when their families are actually affected. And so that was motivation too, for me to actually do something about it. And I feel really good for doing it.
Oh, you should. You got it. You got a status for real in my eyes. Like, that is so dope. As y'all can see, it's getting pushed. It's 12,700, and the goal is 1,500. So I need each and every person who watches this video to not only sign this petition. We're going to go into the meat of it, the meat of the act. But I need y'all to share this video as far as y'all can on Facebook, IG, Twitter, whatever you got to do to push this, because she's almost at her goal, and we definitely need this.
Yeah, because it was a lot of other things that I wanted to add in the petition, but I didn't want to make it too long to where I would lose my petitioners.
Right.
Sometimes people don't really like to read, and so
right.
It was a lot of different things I wanted to add in about how we need police reform, but I just felt like I also didn't want to make it too long to where people be like, no, I'm uninterested. So yeah, I left some stuff out.
Yeah, and they kind of disrespected me with having my address and shit, low key on here. But I'm like, shit, I don't know. I'm like, I hate this for real. I don't know, but I'm gonna read it through and then
anyway, bro.
And then just pause me. Like I'm gonna be reading it through. Okay. It says it's time to record them losing. Stop recording them killing us and record yourself fighting back. That's true. Because I'm tired of the victim. I'm tired of the victim narrative for sure. Like that shit played out. But the Police Accountability Act.
I'm just tired of seeing families being hurt as well. Like I'm tired of seeing families on the news hurt. It seems like they would rather pay families millions of dollars versus arresting and convicting officers, and the world knows that these officers are guilty, and they get off just because they have that badge. So I feel like something definitely needs to be done. Yeah. Really.
And I have to put this disclaimer. I am one of those people that think that the death of George Floyd is fishy, whether he's not dead or whether he was set up. I'm iffy on, but I don't think it was just a random occurrence. But me living my life, I know that police brutality is real, and I know that we are targeted. So I don't give a fuck if it's a psyop or not. This is way too important to not be passed. Like I don't care. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read exactly what you put, and then please pause and stop me if you want to expound on it. Policemen, women play a significant role within our communities. They have the ability to be a positive role model and influence on the citizens that entrust them to protect and serve at all times while doing what's in the best interest of those who need them the most. The law enforcement oath of honor states, "On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve." With that being said, officers are failing to honor this oath by unjustly murdering innocent citizens within their own communities and are not being held fully accountable for their actions. This has been an ongoing problem, and drastic changes need to be made in order to resolve the civil unrest that is occurring globally. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 11, states, "Everyone charged with a penal offense has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, according to the law, in a public trial at which she has had all the guarantees necessary for his defense." Excuse me. In the wake of the egregious behavior by Officer Chauvin, shown in a viral video of the murder of Mr. George Floyd, Americans are seeing a pattern of African American men and women being unjustly murdered for minor misdemeanor offenses or no obvious reasons at all. This pattern, is mainly being exhibited in encounters with African Americans, but have occurred with other races as well. And citizens are fed up with the tyranny that they're experiencing. Families all over America are tired of burying their loved ones due to false assumptions being made by police officers. Changes have to be made, and accountability has to be taken when officers violate their oath. We're asking that law enforcement officers be held fully accountable by enacting the Police Accountability Act, which would entail harsher sentences by immediate arrest, immediate termination, losing their jobs without pay, and longer prison sentences when they're found to be in violation of conduct that leads to injury, death, or of another person. The primary reason why their behavior continues to happen is because there is no consequences for their actions, which causes distrust from the citizens. Additionally, there should be complete transparency after these incidents, because there have been many instances when there seemed to be more sympathy for the police officer than the victim who lost their life, which is an insult to the families who have lost someone tragically. As a nation, we have to do better. Remember, that change starts with you, but it doesn't start until you do. So that is amazing.
Yeah. So
Uh, yeah.
thank you. So I wanted to add on to um I wanted to add on to the penalties that they should face, and the reason why I feel like they should face those penalties. They take an oath to hold themselves accountable and us. So when we break the law, their job is to come in and hold us accountable and make sure that we make it to the court of law to face those charges by a jury of our peers.
Right.
A lot of them aren't doing that. They aren't honoring that oath to hold themselves accountable. And so it makes them all look bad. I know that they say that there are good cops, but to me,
where they at, though?
if you're a good cop, you're going to hold everyone accountable. There wouldn't be these gangs in law enforcement, because I'm hearing they have secret gangs and some other stuff.
Yeah,
and so I just feel like if they violate.
Yeah, they get tattoos.
Go ahead,
they get tattoos for how many times they kill a black person.
Yes. And so I feel like, being that they take an oath to the Constitution to hold us accountable and their peers, the other officers. But I kind of feel like, so what I'm saying is, being that they take that oath, that is a serious oath. When you vow to do something and you're continuously breaking it. So I feel like they're not regular citizens because they took that oath. So when they violate that oath, I feel like their penalty should be double what it would be of a civilian. I really do, because I feel like, had we made an example out of Zimmerman, had we made an example out of the officers in the Freddie Gray case, had there been examples, and had they truly been held accountable, we would not be in the predicament, the predicament that we are right now. There's no accountability. They would rather pay families millions of dollars versus holding each other accountable when they vowed to take that oath. And so that's what really infuriates me. Now, I lost a brother to murder. It was not by a cop, but to me, I still know that feeling. It resonates with me, because for somebody to take a life who didn't give it, that's just messed up to me. So that's what infuriates me even more, is that they're not being held accountable. They're not. We can do something. We can go out and murder somebody. Hell, excuse my language. We got men in prison doing 30 years for breaking in someone's home. They are killing. They are taking lives, and they're not being held accountable. And so that's, to me, like, that's crazy. We have people doing 25 to life for selling crack, but you have people who are taking oaths to do the right thing and hold each other accountable, and they're being acquitted, or they're choosing to pay the families millions of dollars versus arresting them.
Yeah,
and so I
money.
feel like they should also, so I feel like they should also be required to have their own individual insurance, so that when they murder somebody unjustly, people can sue their insurance. And based off of that, if that happens, a lot of insurance companies will drop you, which means you could get dropped from the force. That's another way that we could hold them accountable. But something has to change. Like, we can't continue to allow this to happen. And so that's why I don't give, me personally, and excuse my French, I don't give a damn about what they burning down. I don't give a damn about none of them businesses. I don't give a damn about who out there doing the wrong thing, because at this point, they've been doing this shit for so long to where you have a man, and I know you say that you know you have your beliefs on it, but you had a man who was being literally suffocated on camera and was confident enough that he would get away with it to do it in front of the world, knowing he was being video. And so to me, that's where I draw the line. You have what I mean by transparency. Let me elaborate on that. I feel like we didn't find out that Ahmaud Arbery got struck by a vehicle until the lead detective testified in the preliminary hearing. Why do we have to fight to get details like that? That should have been made public. And so to me, it just seems like when you have law enforcement or they have a past history of being in law enforcement, they get all these passes. But when we do something, we're held to a higher standard, and we're sentenced to, you know, prison and all type of shit. So I'm like, what makes them different? Because they have a badge? Like, if anything, they're worse because they took an oath. They took an oath that they're not honoring. And so I don't, you know, like, that's my personal, you know, opinion about that. The petition, and I'm gonna keep fighting for what's right because it's like it's gotta stop. Like, enough is a fucking enough.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. I'm with you all the way. I agree with your sentiment, and enough is enough. I plan on having children, or at least one child, and I don't want to have to teach them how to not seem threatening to a policeman. Like, I don't want to do that.
And that's
like
a lot of and as a parent, I can remember my daughter graduated this year, so I had to give her a whole pep talk on what to do if she's ever stopped. We should not have to do that. You know, like with our kids, like that's just crazy that you gotta give them a pep talk and you gotta instruct them on what to do and what not to do when they encounter policemen. And I just feel like none of them are good until the good ones stand up and actually start telling and holding the bad ones accountable. Until then, all of them are bad to me. And that's just how I feel.
Facts. Because it's a cancer in the system. And you can't just cut off. Like, you got to get to the source is what I'm saying. You can't pay people off, or he's fired, or he's suspended, he's on the desk now. Like, you can't do that because it doesn't stop the culture. It's a culture of oppression.
It does.
You know, it's a difference between it's a few bad apples, and he was tripping, or maybe he had a bad day, or he does have biases. No, it's a systematic approach to make sure that we are in a constant state of fear. Or anxiety. I wouldn't even say fear. I would say anxiety.
Yeah, and I just feel like you have to be a real coward to target the vulnerable. People, like the state that we are in, people are out of jobs. They're in poverty. They living impoverished. Like, it's so much going on, and so you have to be a real coward to target vulnerable people. And that's how I feel like the thing that infuriated me the most pertaining to the situation with George Floyd was the fact that they thought he was on drugs. And it's like, okay, if you think that he's on drugs and he's overdosing off of drugs, aren't y'all supposed to flip him over or sit him up to make sure he has enough air? Like, that's not how you handle a OD.
I haven't heard that. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard that, but we all know what Narcan is. Like, we're not stupid. Like,
exactly.
We all know what Narcan is.
Exactly.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And and so, you know, they thought that he was ODing, and I'm like, that's not indicative of someone who's ODing. Like, that's how that was handled. It was just so many violations. You know, like I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I still can't believe it. Like, the shit is crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I get it.
And then, you know, Yeah, and then to think about, the people who had to witness that, like they're traumatizing people, like intentionally to instill fear. It's just like what the slave masters used to do to the most masculine men on the plantation, take them
Mm-hmm.
and beat them and brutalize them in front of the people who
Emasculation.
love and value them.
Yep.
Yeah, and to me, they're just like a modern day lynch mob. Like it's no difference. We're just in the millennium, and that was in like, you know, the earlier the years when our ancestors was living. Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
only difference to me. But to me, they've gotten so comfortable doing that shit in public. Like something has to stop, and that's just ridiculous. They was doing it in public back in the day with our ancestors, and it's to the point now where they're doing it in public again. So it's kind of like history is repeating itself. But I think that the only difference now is that we have the ability to do more thanks to the fight that of our
Yeah.
thanks to our ancestors fighting for us. We have the ability to really be heard. And so I just really wanted to use my voice in a positive way to try to do something. I know I just didn't want to sit there. I didn't want to be stagnant and just talk about it. So that's
Right.
why I created a petition.
And remember this too. They've killed, and I like that you add that you presented the fact that they're doing the same thing that they used to do when we were enslaved, because they've publicly killed our babies, our teenagers, our women, and our men. And so
Hell, they fed our
and
babies to they fed our ancestors' babies to gators
well, no, I'm talking about
in
now. I'm talking
Florida.
about now. I'm talking about how they're doing
Yeah,
public executions to remind us. Because okay, I call all these police shootings to me. I call, and I don't know if anybody said this before, but I'm coining it. I call it murder porn. That's what I call these police webcam fucking videos, because it's people
yeah,
getting
because
their
you
rocks
get to
off, seeing I have to say this.
you're right.
I feel like people, and I'm not trying. I'm saying for the people who love trends. I'm not talking about activists like you and truth seekers like me and shit like that. But I'm talking about people who just want to bust the freedom nut. They watch a video, they get angry, they share hashtags, and then they wait until the next one. That's black people getting their rocks off from murder porn. And then there's white people who want to feel like, oh, we care about black people, so we're going to fake outrage and blah, 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 and share the hashtags until another one. And then there's the racist white people that's cheering and happy to see a black man killed. So when I see those videos, that's murder porn to me. Is everybody's getting their,
Yeah, and
yeah.
oh, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
Go ahead.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I was done. I was done. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think that they're doing it because you can only see something so many times until you get desensitized.
Right, right.
It doesn't become, it's like once you keep seeing it and you keep seeing it and you keep seeing it, it's like, oh, okay, you're desensitized. So I kind of feel like in a way they're trying to desensitize us, and to the point to where it's not affecting us. But I think
Mm-hmm.
that what happened with this current case is that the opposite happened, because he was
Mm-hmm.
just so confident. And again, I know, I respect anybody's belief on, I know that you say
I
that
just,
you have your belief.
I'm just saying, at the least, it was a setup. Like, if
Yeah,
that man is dead, then he was set up. That's what I'm saying. With all information.
I can agree with that. I definitely believe that there are some, yeah. I
Yeah,
believe it's just something that's off. Like
yeah.
it's a lot of stuff about it I don't understand either. Like it's some
Mm-hmm.
questions that I even have about it. So
Right.
you're absolutely right. Like something seems fishy. It really do. I don't understand how, and then I don't even know if did they ever even confirm that the $20 bill was fake. Like
That's what
I still haven't heard anything about that.
me
And
either.
then who the hell was the white woman that they were saying was his girlfriend? Who was the
Right?
white
Yeah,
woman?
where'd she come from? Because he ain't scream out her name.
Yeah,
He screamed out "Mama." So who the fuck is
yeah,
you to be talking
yeah. And
about
then
anything?
so like I got a lot. Yeah, like I got a lot of questions. I kind of feel like they put a white woman on camera, hoping that it would kind of,
Well,
like
everybody
I
like,
don't
huh?
know, man.
Like nigga, ain't no white.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sorry, but
okay,
ain't no white lady gonna lull me to sleep. That's gonna make me like want to just tell you to shut the fuck up talking. Like that's crazy. I don't understand that.
facts,
But we
facts. Yeah.
let me give the people some credibility, because they always try to
Okay.
say that black people be tripping. But I actually found the FBI document exposing that white supremacists have infiltrated the police system. So let me share my screen,
Okay.
and this is a document, unclassified, law enforcement sensitive, of course, but white supremacist infiltration of law enforcement. This is from October 17th, 2006, prepared by FBI Counterterrorism Division. Um, White supremacist infiltration of law enforcement. This intelligence assessment provides an overview of white supremacist infiltration of law enforcement and derives its information from FBI investigations and open sources available as of August 2006. This assessment addresses okay. Whoa. Although white supremacist groups have historically engaged in strategic efforts to infiltrate and recruit from law enforcement communities, the primary threat from infiltration or recruitment arises from the areas of intelligence collection and exploitation, which can lead to investigative branches and can jeopardize the safety of law enforcement sources and personnel. White supremacist presence among law enforcement personnel is a concern due to the access they may possess to restrict areas vulnerable to sabotage and to elected officials or protected persons whom they could see as potential targets for violence. The intelligence acquired through the successful infiltration of law enforcement by one white supremacist group can benefit other groups due to the multiple allegiances white supremacists typically hold. Consequences of compromised intelligence. This assessment, and it's short, y'all. It's not like 30 pages or nothing, but this assessment examines the white supremacist infiltration of law enforcement for perspectives of both strategic infiltration by organized groups and self-initiated infiltration by law enforcement personnel sympathetic to white supremacist causes. The primary threat from infiltration or recruitment arises from the areas of intelligence collection and exploitation, which can lead to investigative breaches and can jeopardize the safety of law enforcement sources or personnel. White supremacist presence among law enforcement personnel is also of concern due to the access they may possess to restricted areas vulnerable to sabotage and to elected officials or protected persons whom they could see as potential targets for violence. Organized intent to infiltrate law enforcement. The apparent sporadic reporting on white supremacist infiltration of law enforcement could be, and they redacted that. White supremacist leaders and groups have historically shown an interest in infiltrating law enforcement communities or recruiting law enforcement personnel. Most information about systematic attempts by white supremacist groups to infiltrate law enforcement involved. And y'all know when they share these documents, they are allowed to redact information. Why, I don't know, but this says tradecraft. Since coming to law enforcement attention in late 2004, the term ghost skins has gained currency among white supremacists to describe those who avoid overt displays of their beliefs to blend into society and covertly advance white supremacist causes. One internet posting described this effort as a form of role playing in which to create the character, you must get inside the mind of the person you are trying to duplicate. Excuse me. Such role playing has application to ad hoc and organized law enforcement infiltration. At least one white supremacist group has reportedly encouraged ghost skins to seek positions in law enforcement for the capability of alerting skinhead crews of pending investigative action against them. Leaders in the white supremacist movement have advocated confronting suspected infiltrators and to instruct them to provide their FBI handlers with low-level information that will minimally impact the group's activities. Another is yet undocumented infiltration strategy is for members to walk in to law enforcement agencies and offer information to determine an agency's interest in the organization. That's crazy. In addition to its historical interest, white supremacist leadership has also engaged in recent rhetoric that encourages followers to infiltrate law enforcement communities. White supremacist sympathizers. The Ku Klux Klan, KKK, is notable among white supremacist groups for historically having found support in many communities, which often translate into ties to local law enforcement. Excuse me. That's a lot. Although the First Amendment's freedom of association provision protects an individual's right to join white supremacist groups for purposes of lawful activity, the government can limit the employment opportunities of group members who hold sensitive public sector jobs, including jobs within law enforcement, when their memberships would interfere with their duties. Recent examples of law enforcement personnel whose activities in support of white supremacist beliefs have come under scrutiny include and okay, let me read this since that's redacted. The following exchange appears among the frequently asked questions on the Creative Movement CM website. Do you hate police and military personnel? No, the United States Iron Hills military and police forces are evil institutions, but we have nothing against many individual cops and soldiers who are often the best of our race. Indeed, many cops and soldiers are sympathetic to the pro-white cause. And yeah, that's fucked up. And that's the end of that report. So that's FBI evidence that white supremacist groups have infiltrated the law enforcement. So how do you feel about that, chat and guest and Nini? How do you feel about that?
I feel like that's been going on. I feel like this is why we need police reform. I feel like anybody who is affiliated with any type of racist organization should be a part of it. They should be immediately removed because you're not going to be able to be unbiased if you're affiliated with the organization like that. But I also feel like on the other hand, some of our brothers need to be smart. We need to start infiltrating some of these law enforcement. We need to start infiltrating the politics. We need to start infiltrating something besides nursing school, and have more black doctors, black lawyers, policemen, like people who are really down for the cause, because I feel like that would help as well. Like have people who really are able to stand grounded on their morals, principles, and values. Like we have to learn to be smart. You have to know your enemy. And I feel like we learned from them. So I feel like we got the advantage. We just have to learn how to be smart and use it correctly to get to where we need to be. But I definitely feel like our brothers and our sisters, for that matter, more of us need to get into law enforcement and get into politics and get into law school, and start becoming more proactive in these things and infiltrate it as well. Nobody said we can't infiltrate that.
And start checking these niggas and start checking. And we don't need to worry. And this, I got two things to say. We do not need to worry about racist white cops per se. We need to start checking our black policemen who are allowing this shit or encouraging the shit. That's what we need black men to be police for, to check these coon ass niggas who are doing that shit for clout for that system. Like that, like it has always been, and I'm sorry, but it has always been black people allowing white people to treat us wrong. And when I say that, I mean, oh, massa, they talking about leaving. They talking like, dude, like that's when I see a black cop do that. Like when I see a black cop among white officers who are doing that, or when I see black cops beating up our people. And now when I say our people in this context, I just mean the American people, period. But especially black people, but the American people, period. I see them as, look at me, massa. How's it do it, boss? Are you happy, boss? Like, that's what I see when I see that. And also, I was listening to General Sarah Sutanseti. Shout out him. I really want to interview that guy. Anyways, he was talking about how
you should reach out.
Huh?
You should reach out. I'm sure.
I'm going to. I'm going to. I'm going to. I'm hoping that. That's one of my. That's gonna be. That's one of my dream interviews. But he was talking about how you should, in order to be a policeman, you have to live in that county, and then if it's predominantly black, it needs to be a black police force. It has to be. He said that is the only way. That is the only real reformation of the police system. You cannot, because even we in Michigan we have this thing called like the state police versus the regular police, and they don't live in our neighborhood, so they're not connected to it. They don't know the people. They're they're mentally not even like it's literally just a job to fuck people up. So you cannot have people who don't understand the dynamics, the psychology, the culture of an area and try to control it. It just doesn't work, because things that aren't aggressive, you're going to see as exactly. And I'm not saying like some niggas do deserve to be in jail. Like, niggas be doing dumb shit, but at the same time,
I agree.
They're always fucking up the wrong people. Like, it could be niggas that like do a shootout. Like, okay, I'll put it this way, right? I remember growing up, I was coming home from chilling. It was me and some cousins, and we were driving past this club, right? And it was roped off. No, it wasn't roped off. I'm sorry, it wasn't roped off yet. There was a dead body sitting in the parking lot. Like, the guy had got killed. No, the guy got shot, and he was laying there for hours, and he eventually died. And the police never came until after he died. Wow. And it's shit like that. But let me steal a fucking let me steal a fucking honey bun, and I'm getting sticks. I'm getting my ass beat. Like, they gonna fuck me up. Exactly. Let me play some music. Let me disturb the peace. And they quit. Let me fucking speed. Let me speed. Let me go 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. Let me run a red light because I'm late for work, or I'm just impatient and I'm trying to get to where I'm going. They'll stop. They'll get that, but they be letting people die. Like, it's just like And my cousin, my cousin got murdered not too long ago, and supposedly they knew who did it. Thank you, Justice for Manny. They supposedly knew who did it. The people around them knew who did it and saw it. Information was put out. So why is there hold on, let me see something real quick. Because actually this conversation is kind of pissing me off, because just thinking about the injustice that's going on, I'm about to pull something up real quick. But
it's crazy because they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't value black lives. And it pissed me off even more when they, be on that all lives matter bullshit. All means equal amount. Clearly, black lives don't matter. So you can't say all lives matter until our life matters. And they take it for minor shit, like shit that you should have been written a ticket for or not even taken to jail for. Like, I'm not saying that everybody is innocent and, like, we just need to, like, I understand that some people do break the law, but I don't feel like if you, possibly had a $20 bill, a counterfeit $20 bill, that you should have been suffocated to death. Like, how does that equate? Like, that's not that don't equate to death, to a death sentence. But let it have been a fucking dog with his, with him with his meat in a dog's neck or throat, and you would have had Peter, you would have had all the motherfuckers out there. So that's what I mean when I say we need police reform, because that it's sad to me when they give a fuck more about a dog. And I have dogs, and I love my dogs, but I value human life over them. You get it? Like human life is more important to me versus an animal's life. And it's just fucking sad. Like when the little boy who shot the German Shepherd that was a K9 officer.
Yep.
They gave his ass 20 years. So it's like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, really? And so that's the shit that really, it really be bothering me. Like when you can get 20 years for shooting and killing a fucking dog.
Yeah.
But
that shit is sad.
Like it's sad. It's really sad to me.
Okay. So what we looking at is Justice for Manny initiative. It's my cousin. He got murdered. I'll show y'all the article. But this hurts to see because I'm used to this in Flint, but not my family. Right here. Like, I don't like people don't understand like how fucked up it is to be driving past and see that of your family. And the fact that police knew who did it, okay, I'm only bringing this up because I'm just showing that this type of shit, like police reform is important because this type of shit happens to real people. It's not just news. It's like this shit really does affect people, like people in real life. The police knew who did it, and they let the nigga get away. Like for some reason, he had enough time to dip. When they had video, they knew who did it. The people who was around said who did it. The people, I just don't understand it. But like I said, they'll find me though.
Exactly. And look at how long, another example, bro, is look at how long it took for them to actually arrest the 3 men in the Ahmaud Arbery case. Well, it shouldn't have took 3 months for them to arrest them. Like, it's clear that they hunted that man down and executed him in broad fucking daylight before running him over with a vehicle, and then stood over his dead body and called him a fucking N-word. And so it's just crazy to me, like the hypocrisy, like how they cover up, and we have to fight for transparency. We have to fight to find out details. It's all kind of acquittals going on. They're never held accountable. You see families on TV, in tears over this shit. And, I don't know about nobody else, but like I said, I had a brother who was murdered, for no fucking reason other than a guy stole his car speakers and he went and asked them for them back and got shot in his fucking chest with a shotgun, 12 gauge. And so, no, it wasn't at the hands of a cop, but just to lose a loved one by the hands of someone who did not give them life. That's a hurtful fucking feeling. So that's why I can empathize with what those families are going through, because I've lived it. I'm still living it. Like, it's 10 of us. It's 10 of us. And so, it was 10 of us. And so, like we grew up close. We never needed a whole bunch of friends because it was so many of us, so yeah, like shit gotta change. And then his killer only got 6 years. How the fuck do you get 6 years for blowing somebody's whole fucking chest off in broad daylight? And so it's like the shit is just it's backwards as fuck to me. It really is. But I really feel like I am happy that this happened, because we are seeing some changes, like we're seeing say, and I'm not by no means saying I'm celebrating, because just because they arrested them does not mean we're going to get a conviction. We've seen it happen multiple times. But I'm really hoping, I'm hopeful that we'll finally get convictions and accountability, and especially when we have so many people who are on the front lines fighting, for this cause. I'm really hoping that this time there is some accountability on their part, and so
Yep.
that's, yeah,
No, you're
exactly.
right.
And
And changes,
they
excuse me, changes are definitely happening because people are now calling for
yeah,
the defunding of police departments. In San Jose, mayor says he won't defund police department, but he does call for reformations. So that,
yeah, and his brother is supposed to be testifying, or speaking in front of the Congress. Did you hear
yeah,
about that?
no, no,
And I thought that was a start. Like, hell, when they had them school shootings, they allowed the families to go in front of Congress and speak, and they made some changes to my knowledge. So, I'm just hopeful that, being that, you know there is an uprising, I'm really hoping that we get the changes that we need, and um so we can really, like, really be equal, because right now I feel like, I've always felt like we're not they feel like we're not equal. They ain't even changed the Constitution. Like, so it's just things like that. Like, I was infuriated. Like, bro, like, I was pissed.
yeah,
And so
and
I calmed down because, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying, I actually tried to calm down, because, when you're upset, sometimes like, your mind be moving too fast. You don't really have time to really come up with a plan. And
Right.
so that's why I came up with the petition as well. I just kind of had to bring it down a notch and
Yeah,
just kind of think. So,
and that's important too. Taking a second to breathe and think, because we are a very spiritual and emotional people. And once stuff start,
we are.
we just instantly just react. I do not want to see this
Yeah.
nigga pop up on my screen. Okay, I'm about to hop off here. This is what I believe that should happen, right? What's it?
Okay.
Defund the police department, and they're gonna fund martial law. It's a slippery slope. That's a fact. That's why. Okay, hold on. We got some
But
love in the building.
we don't have right according we don't have rights in this country anyway. We're not equal. They don't think we're equal. So, to me, fuck martial law. We don't have rights. Clearly we
Yeah,
don't have rights, because if they respected our rights, they would respect our fucking life. We wouldn't be dying. Our people wouldn't be fucking dying. So I don't give a fuck about. Excuse my language, bro.
no, you
I
can
don't
touch
care
on here.
about that martial law. Like, that shit don't phase
Well,
me,
I
because I feel
always
like
say
you gotta
this.
stand for something, or you don't
Yeah,
fall for anything. We clearly aren't equal in this fucking country. We've been complacent enough. We keep trying to sympathize with the people who's fucking us up. They fucking up our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our cousins, our uncles, our aunts, and every goddamn body else. And it's time for a change. Fuck that martial law shit. I'm not on that martial law. I don't give a fuck about martial law, because we ain't had rights. They don't give a fuck about our rights. They don't value our life. And so why the fuck should I care about martial law? I don't. I really don't. I don't give a fuck what they do. I really don't. But I know what's gonna happen if they do. I know I'm gonna stand for something if it do come down to that. You just ain't gonna do me any kind of way and think that I'm gonna just sit there and take that shit. We've been taking this shit for long enough. Like, it's only so much you can only bully and oppress people for so long, until people gonna get tired, and they gonna come out that corner swinging, and they not gonna give a fuck who get hit, who in the way, and whatever else fucking happened. And I kind of feel like this is the point that we're at now. This is why they're talking about it, because people ain't listening to that shit. People ain't following directions. They wasn't even following curfew. So to me, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't give a fuck who out there. I don't give a fuck what the fuck they burning up, because that shit don't belong to us. And if you have anything that's of value anyway, trust and believe that shit is insured. It ain't our shit. We don't have our own town because they burnt every goddamn thing down that we've ever tried to motherfucking own on our own. So therefore, I don't give a fuck about what they burning up out there. Who out there infiltrating some shit? I really don't. All I want is better, and I want changes. All that other shit to me is just a distraction. I don't give a fuck about that materialistic shit. I don't.
I'll say this. I'll say this much. I understand, Sharon, exactly what you're saying. And anybody who's new here, I just have to say this. Please like, share, and subscribe. We always bring the heat on this channel. This platform is for Black ascension, Black unity, Black information, and the ascension of all that stuff. But we have been in the New World Order since they made the first United Nations. All they're doing is just trying to enact the phases of it and make it more and more restricted. So we are under the New World Order. We are technically in a police state. There's cameras everywhere. There's it's a police force enforcing the rules. So we're not free. It's literally, policemen are literally just slave patrol. And remember that when Abraham Lincoln made everybody citizens, he made everybody slaves. So he didn't free the slaves. That's a lie. And I have to add that the Gullah people fought, the Gullah Wars that happened, and that fought us from bondage. But Abraham Lincoln decided to make everybody in the United States citizens, aka slaves to the system. So none of us are free.
So you gotta think about too, bro. You gotta think about mass incarceration. Mm-hmm. That's a part of slavery too. That's a new form of slavery. There is mass incarceration. Yes, they are incarcerating our men for non-violent fucking offenses. Some of them are first-time offenders who shouldn't even be in there. Some of them have past drug abuse issues who should be in a fucking rehab or some type of sober center or whatever they call it. I forgot what they call it, trying to get help for the root of their problem. But instead of that, they're incarcerating them, and that's a new form of slavery. So to answer the question about the New World Order, do I care about it? I don't, because we've been, like he said, it's phases to this shit. It's been agendas. If you've been paying attention, this shit, everything, like they've been predicting this shit. If you watch certain shit, there has been agendas going on. And if you don't realize that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but this shit has been going on. So we're not saying that's why I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. But I promise you, I'm going to stand for something. Like, trust and believe. We don't have rights anyway because they don't value our fucking life.
They don't. They don't at all. Shit.
It's sad. You gotta stand
like,
for something. You gonna always fall for something.
Yeah, you know what?
You gotta stand for something.
I was talking to one of my uncles, and he was telling me, "Oh, I guess she's leaving. I guess she doesn't like the conversation." Thank you for showing up, though. I appreciate it. Please subscribe.
Thank you for showing up.
And I don't mean that to be condescending, but please subscribe. He says, "I'm getting out and make my money from making business deal with business here in the U.S., but to settle down and live the rest of my life here, no, not me. 465 years is proof enough."
What do you think, bro? Let me ask you this question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, I ain't anti-Trump, to be honest. Well, I don't really trust no politician. Let me make that clear. But from what he's doing, but the things that I see him doing, I have to give credit where credit's due. But I don't. Yeah, drain the swamp.
Because
facts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't trust none of them. All of them lying ass politicians to me. I don't trust none of them.
You said YP told us to subscribe, but okay. Oh yeah. Oh okay. Oh, all right. Well, I appreciate that. I didn't. I okay. Let me say this. Let me say this. YouTube, when I had Young Pharaoh on and he gave that shout out
Mm-hmm.
and my number shot up, I didn't get any notifications of who subscribed to me and who didn't. I didn't get the usually when you reach a certain level, you get the congratulations and you can post your numbers and blah blah blah. They never gave that to me. And in fact, when people subscribe to me, a lot of the times they unsubscribe people. Like for every 2 to 3 new subscribers I get, they take those away. So I apologize if y'all
Yes.
if when y'all come in and y'all say something and y'all say, "Oh, I already did subscribe." I don't know. I just say it just to make sure. But so I apologize. Everybody to me matters. Y'all not just numbers, but I don't know who subscribed to me. I just don't.
Yeah,
So,
because I've had to resubscribe to your page a few times. I don't know if you
oh
got the
wow,
notification, but
no.
yeah, I've had to sub to your page a couple of times, and
I'm glad you
it's
said
happened with
that.
a lot of y'all. Yeah, it's happened with a lot of y'all who are speaking out,
Mm-hmm.
and so
I I
I've had to do it with
appreciate
our
that
show.
because I be feeling like
Yeah,
people
I've had
be
to
thinking I'm
do it.
capping.
No, I've had
Like,
to do it with my people. I've had to do it with a lot of the people who I typically do sub to.
mm-hmm,
I'll go back like a couple of days later and it'll say subscribe and I'm like, what is going on? Like I thought it was my phone at first, but I was like, nah, it
mm-hmm.
can't be my phone. So yeah, they
I
are.
would not
You're
be
right.
surprised. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would not be surprised if I am really 1K right now. It would not surprise me if I had literally 1,000 subscribers right now, but I'll never see it because they play with my numbers.
Do you have YouTube? Do you have YouTube Studio?
Yes, but like I said, like
Go to YouTube.
they'll say like plus 15 or plus 8 this week or something like that, but then you'll see like it'll be like for instance, for about a month and a half, I was stuck at 730. Then it shot up to 45. Then it shot down to 41. And then it just keeps doing that. It just fluctuates. It just keeps doing that. So, like, I don't
Oh,
know. And
well, I'm
even,
just starting out,
yeah,
so
yeah. So
I got some
just
ways to go.
just know that people who support you, they may get yapped out the system, and that's why I always because sometimes cause even I be looking at the numbers like it only shows 6 people watching, but then when I cut off the video, it'll be like 36 views already or shit like that. So they just be fucking they just try to suppress, and it's
Yeah,
good ass information. The people who
yeah,
watch it, I appreciate y'all, and I like that shit.
yeah.
It's
I
discouraging
always try to
sometimes,
stay.
but whatever. Go ahead.
I always try to stay up to y'all, the ones So
Hmm.
yeah, I make sure I'm subbed up.
I appreciate that. And can you please give the people because I think we said enough. I think this was a very, very, very powerful live, and I hope everybody pushes this episode because it's very
Well,
important. I know you're gonna get 15K. I know you're gonna get that number.
that's
So
the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. I'm just trying to do 15K. I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for a million signatures. But I thank you, bro, for having me on and picking my brain about why I chose to start the petition and all that good stuff. I hope that we'll have an opportunity to build again.
oh yeah, for
I'm
sure.
supposed to be interviewing a past master of the Freemason Society June the 11th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. My channel is NINI LISCIOUS. And that's pretty much it, y'all. If y'all haven't,
Hmm.
please sign the petition. And I thank you so much for having me on, bro.
No
I really
problem,
do.
Nini. And
You
before
always
you
support
leave,
me. It's
Mm-hmm.
all love.
All love. You my sis. You my sis for life. So I need y'all to please go to her channel and subscribe up because that's very important. I'm gonna be in the building. You know, I'm gonna be comment creeping, uh, and so I'm gonna be
Yeah,
doing my thing supporting.
I'm afraid when I interview him that I'm gonna miss something, and I know that it's been a lot said about the Freemasons. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to also give the people in the chat an opportunity to come up and ask questions as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's going to be about. I'm going to interview them and ask my questions because I got my own personal questions. But I also want to give y'all an opportunity because I
Mm-hmm.
was taught always go to the source. If you got questions, go to the source. Who better to answer than him?
Right. Right.
He was a past master. So I was honored, that he agreed, and I'm happy that he'll be interviewing with me. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, check out my channel, and I'll definitely we have a flyer up, and yeah, I'll be promoting it. So I thank
It's
y'all guys for having me. Thank y'all so much.
it's NINI Licious. That's her Facebook. I mean her YouTube channel. Excuse me. But let me hold on. Let me show them. I'm about to pull you up real quick so I can just
Okay.
screen share it so they can see.
Okay.
Um, see your poster and everything.
Okay.
Shout out King World 2022. Let me show. Let me
Yes, he
show
did
you.
my flyer. Shout out to him. Yeah, he did a banging flyer. If y'all need a flyer, hit up World News.
Live NINI Licious, June 11, 2020. Interviews past master of the Freemason Society. This is so important. Like
Yeah,
that's gonna be history, yo. You about
yeah,
to do your thing, and I'm definitely
yeah.
supporting.
Because I don't think no one has ever interviewed a Freemason because
Not
they're so secretive. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
it's
So
gonna be really dope.
I thank you
Before
so much
no
again
problem. Hold
for
up.
oh, thank you so much.
Before you leave, I have to push this hashtag, and so you know what's going on. Let me find it.
Okay.
We're trying to make this go viral on this channel. Post your black receipt. What is this movement about? It's about showing the receipt that you support black businesses, you support black art. Anytime you buy, you patronize, you watch somebody else's video, anything like that. If you go to my Instagram and tag me at the underscore real underscore studio 2 groovy, that's my IG. You tag me in it and you put this hashtag post your black receipt, and you will we're going to have a cash prize, and we will post you. We will post you. We'll have a whole episode about black businesses, and we will post your post and the business and give them some notoriety. So, and whoever either gets the best one, or we're gonna have a feminine and a masculine winner. So I just need people to just keep pushing this. Post your black receipt and get it popping.
Well, I
That's what we
definitely
pushing.
got some. Yeah, I stay supporting. So I definitely got some. I got to go in my emails and my Cash App. So I'll definitely rep and do that.
I appreciate that. So we're going to end this like we always do, with
Thank
love and light. Bye, Nini. Bye, everybody. Make sure y'all like, share,
you.
subscribe, and peace.